anyway, is Josh Reynolds tested positive for COVID, and as well as Steven Montez on practice squad. So those are the two new things up to date. So I'll open it up to questions.
Justin, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, can we, also get an update on the two guys that went out with the knee injuries yesterday? I don't know if you have, a full medical situation on those guys, but what you know at this point.
Yeah, right now Zylstra would certainly, he's out for the year. We'll see what it looks like. 2 weeks from now, we'll know a lot more. Get the swelling out of the knee, and then decide where you go from there. Is it able to heal properly, or does he need surgery? But all that's being checked out. But he's out. And Kabinda is a little more hopeful. At least certainly next week. We'll have to see this week, but he's better off, so that's a positive. We'll just see where it goes, and how he feels every day from here on out.
And then, I know these last few games are really important to the team, but particularly to young guys that, maybe haven't had a lot of opportunity, good developmental opportunity for them. One of those guys is Fatu. Probably doubled his snap count for the season yesterday defensively. And I just wonder what the film showed you on the performance, and then what he can do in these last two games with, Amani and Jerry out for the season.
Yeah, look, the film showed a guy who, look, he went in there and competed. He drew Kyle Pitts quite a bit, and it showed that he hasn't played a lot since Green Bay, is what it showed, and that's okay, as long as he improves from here. He did go out there, and here's what we want to see. Here's what I want to see these last 2 weeks. I want to see a guy that is not a slow burn. He comes out hot early and has already got it turned up, and he's ready to compete, and he's got the look in his eye, and not take him a minute to get going. That's what we're looking for, because he's got it in his body, and he's smart, and he works, and so that's the next step here for him.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Kyle?
Hey, Dan. I'm not sure if you're aware, but you set a record yesterday, an NFL record for most fourth down attempts in a season. I know you have said before that you were intending to be aggressive on those downs coming into the year, trying to give your team an edge. But could you just expand a little bit on the thinking there on why you've gone for it so much?
So you just said I set a record for what?
Fourth down attempts in a season.
Most fourth down attempts? Yeah, I didn't know that. And I'm sorry. So then you asked me, but I was trying to get clarification from Eamon over here. I didn't know. And so what was the question to it? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I'm in the airport, so it's a little noisy on this end too. I was just curious your thinking on those downs, why you wanted to be so aggressive. Obviously, it's probably a function of trailing a lot this year, but you wanted to be aggressive too. You said that before, and I'm just curious as to why.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. I feel like when you feel like you have trust in your players or in the play or where the game's at, I don't know, it feels right. And so I want to do it. I think that, I think you got to feel good about your players and the plan. And if you do, I think you go for it, and I want to send a message that, we're playing to win, and we're not playing to lose. And there's a time to be conservative, and there's a time to be aggressive. And so it's just, I think, a little more in my nature to roll the dice, if you will. But I still feel like it's calculated risk.
As the roster improves going into year 2 and 3, is that something you still want to do, or will that philosophy change with the talent level?
Well, I think I would like to believe the aggressive nature will stay, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that'll show up on fourth downs all the time. That could show up on first and second down on some different things that we do. But I think there again, if the timing's right, and it's one of those things that you really feel strongly about with your players and the play, the schemes, yeah, you do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Eric? Hey, Eric, we're not getting you clean on the other
What's
end.
up, Coach? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Can y'all hear me?
Yep,
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Obviously, you guys got Jamal Williams back, but I want to ask you just about him this year. I mean, he's a guy. Obviously, we see him, finding motivation from things like anime and in a lot of different ways. What does somebody like that meant? Just his personality, getting him back, and with your first year having a guy that's consistent every day, that's finding ways to motivate himself, bring energy. What does that meant to the team? What does that meant to you in your first year to have a guy like that?
Yeah, I think it's been a lot. Look, it was one of the reasons why we wanted to sign him. Was just the nature of the way that he runs, and you can tell he was a guy when you watch him on tape. Not only is the production there as a runner, but he's high energy, man, and he's upbeat, and you could tell that he made the guys around him better, and it gave those guys a boost, particularly the offensive line when you watched him at Green Bay. So that just popped off the tape when we watched him, and then certainly to be able to get him here, man, you could tell early. I could tell early that he was definitely our type of guy, and so I just bring this up. A guy like Jamal is. Here's what I love most is, man, he is reliable and he's steady, and like I know exactly what he's going to do on damn near every play, whether it's run or pass or routes, whatever that is, man. In protection, you just know what kind of you're going to get a day's work out of him, and it's going to be good work, good productive work, and man, I appreciate that, and it helps you as a play caller.
Coach, I got one more quick one for you. Obviously, you guys have had a lot of different injuries. You've had great players all throughout the year, but when you think of some of the most valuable guys on the roster who've helped you guys throughout the year, who's some of those guys as we get close to the end of the year? Who has been some of the most valuable guys on the team outside of just obviously Jared Goff, but guys you think of that's been reliable this year? Who comes to mind for you as the year's come to close?
Well, I mean, look, there's a number of guys, but I mean, certainly one of the first ones that pops in my head is Jalen Reeves-Maybin. Pops up, and I know he missed a couple of games here due to injury, but when he's been out there on defense and on special teams, he makes plays. He's a football player, and that doesn't go unnoticed. Michael Brockers has been steady all year long, man. He's been a force for us, and just a steady, constant, reliable force for us. Look, Jamal, I know when Jamal's been able to play, I mean, there's a number of these guys. Alex Anzalone before he got hurt, Freak Leaf, St. Brown as a rookie. I mean, I could go down the list, for a lot of these guys that have been here for most of the year. Look, Will Harris, man, he's been here, and he's been doing it, and he's had to play multiple roles for us. So Amani before he got hurt, I mean. So really, there is a nice core group of guys here, and that, man, have been steady and reliable for us.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
All right, last one for Justin.
Hey, Dan, as you continue to kind of evolve and evaluate yourself as a play caller, obviously the big drought yesterday was the red zone success. So as you looked back over the film and kind of evaluated how you called the red zone plays, what did you, I guess, learn from that process, if anything?
Yeah, well, I would start here. I I mentioned this last night. There was there was a sequence there where we had two false starts back to back in the red zone, actually within two plays of each other. And I felt like one of those I got the play in late, and it kind of started this whole thing because we had a kill on it, and and then you're trying to hard count, and you're going to, and it's just a lot of thinking, and it's, and that's, and I felt like I put a lot of that on me, and so. Get the play in time, and I try to be mindful of that, but I didn't do that there. And when it needs to come in faster, that's one thing you learn. The other thing is, look, the end of that game with Tim, talking about working the right side, man, I could have helped him. When I go back and watch that tape, man, I should have helped him better with a good, solid man zone read, maybe start the back outside, bring him back in, and I kicked myself for that, hindsight looking at it, and just something that could help him see it, quicker and sooner. So I think little things like that. Other than that, I thought the plan was pretty good. The penalties killed us in the red zone. They really did. And So if I'm putting anything on me as well from that, it's, man, we can't green light it. You know, we got to be careful with these hard counts because we're not handling them right now. And look, it's Tim Boyle's new quarterback. You know, they're used to golf, but that's not an excuse. We got to be able to handle it. And so until we can, we got to back off some of that stuff.
And just to be clear, to make sure I understand, when you said getting a better man zone read, you were talking about some pre-snap motion there with the back?
Yes. Just to clearly give him a true indicator. You know, I wish I would have done that.
Appreciate it, Dan.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep.
You guys want to hang on? We'll have